of legend. That being said, the singer led a life plagued by scandals, including allegations of racism, sexual misconduct, and infidelity. After his death, it seems his problems only continued for his family. Here are the biggest scandals in Elvis Presley's family. With that face, that voice, and those hips, Elvis Presley could have enjoyed the attention of almost any grown woman on the planet. However, it was a 14-year-old girl who stole his heart. And well, that's pretty weird. Presley served with Priscilla Hugh's father in the U.S. Army in West Germany, and they first met at a party in 1959 when Priscilla was 14 and Elvis was 24. She recalled to People that her parents initially forbade her from seeing the star, but eventually allowed Elvis to court her, at which point her grades dropped dramatically and she revolved her entire life around the singer. Elvis tried to mold her into the woman he wanted her to be, down to telling her to wear more eye makeup. Priscilla also wore her mother's clothes to look older, so that no one would suspect him of being with someone so young. In a 2016 interview with Loose Women, Priscilla explained what it was like to be married to Elvis.
You lived his life. You honestly didn't have your own life. You lived his life.
Priscilla wasn't the only young teen that Elvis Presley reportedly romped around with. In the book Elvis Presley, A Southern Life, author Joel Williamson alleges that Presley had a group of 3 14-year-old girls whom he would inappropriately engage with while at Graceland, ranging from tickling, wrestling, pillow fighting, and kissing. One of the girls, Frances Forbes, told the Daily Mail, "He didn't pay any attention to me when I was 13, but when I was 14, he noticed me." 14 was a magical age with Elvis. It really was. According to Williamson, in 1954, Presley cheated on 15-year-old girlfriend Dixie Locke with a fan. The Daily Mail also reported that when Presley was performing in Florida in 1956, 14-year-old fan Jackie Rowland's mother found Presley kissing Rowland, quote, in a grown-up way. Additionally, after Presley split from wife Priscilla, he is accused of pursuing another teen girl. In Alana Nash's book, Baby Let's Play House, Elvis and the Women Who Loved Him, she writes that Presley moved on with a 14-year-old girl named Rika Smith. Prior to meeting Priscilla, Elvis, who was already one of the most famous people in the world, had quite the active sex life. However, the rock icon basically forbade Priscilla from doing the same until after they tied the knot. While he had rumored dalliances with Nancy Sinatra and other stars during their courtship, he refused to consummate his relationship with Priscilla until their wedding night. As the Daily Mail reports, her perceived purity was integral for him to maintain his attraction to her. In a piece for People penned by Priscilla, she claimed that they conceived daughter Lisa Marie on their honeymoon, and that after Lisa Marie's birth, Elvis had no sexual interest in her anymore. She also claimed that when she was 7 months pregnant, Elvis suggested a trial separation, but changed his mind within days. For as much as Elvis was obsessed with virginal women, he certainly didn't limit his own behavior at all. In Elvis Presley, A Southern Life, author Joel Williamson reported that Elvis installed two-way mirrors in his homes to spy on party guests having sex and women undressing. Elvis Presley wasn't the only cheater in his marriage, however. After Elvis stopped being intimate with Priscilla following the birth of their daughter, Lisa Marie, she understandably sought satisfaction elsewhere. In a 1985 interview with Barbara Walters, Priscilla explained that her relationship with Elvis was more of a father-daughter companionship as opposed to a functional marriage. Priscilla says she turned to hobbies to keep herself busy while Elvis worked and entertained other women. She took karate lessons from stuntman and martial arts expert Mike Stone and eventually had an affair with him. Ultimately, Priscilla's lack of an intimate life with Elvis reached a tipping point. In 1972, she told Elvis she was having an affair with Stone and wanted to end their marriage, sending Elvis into a rage. She went on to date Stone, during which they enjoyed various hobbies together. Despite the bitter ending of their marriage, Priscilla and Elvis remained close friends until his death in 1977. In August 1977, Elvis's girlfriend, Ginger Alden, found him dead in their bathroom, specifically and infamously on the floor in a locked position that indicated he had fallen to the ground while sitting on the toilet. The king was just 42 years old. The singer had grown overweight and was long dependent on several prescription drugs, including opiates, tranquilizers, sleeping pills, and hormones. People reported that he'd been prescribed nearly 12,000 pills within less than 2 years before his death. Quaaludes and various opiates were reportedly found in his system after his death, creating a perfect storm for a heart attack. The singer also suffered chronic constipation, a common side effect of opiates, so he frequently abused laxatives as well. The circumstances of his untimely passing were, of course, humiliating, but actually aren't too uncommon. Straining to defecate can put real pressure on the aorta and heart, and is likely what ultimately killed him. Presley's personal physician, Dr. Nick Nikopoulos, was accused of overprescribing drugs to Presley, as well as singer Jerry Lee Lewis, for years. Dr. Nick insisted he was being careful and that he often gave Presley placebos in an effort to quell his addictions, and that the reason he gave him prescription drugs was to prevent him from buying them on the street. He also said the high volume of pills was because he prescribed them not just for Presley himself, but for his entourage. Priscilla Presley was